Less than 1 hour after landing on the Palouse, authorities booked him into the Latah County Jail. Kohberger is now officially charged with 4 counts of murder and 1 count of burglary. He is being held without bond.
After that hearing, we will finally learn what's inside the probable cause affidavit. That affidavit has the information and evidence troopers used to arrest Kohberger in Pennsylvania.
And the plot thickens. New court documents lay out case against Brian Kohberger for Moscow murders. Police say DNA from a knife sheath left at the crime scene where 4 University of Idaho students were murdered ties suspect Brian Kohberger to the case. In the court documents, police gave a clearer timeline and new details about the murders of Kaylee Goncalves, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogen, and Zaina Kernodle in the early morning of November 13, 2022. The new details led investigators to believe the deaths occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. Police say Kernodle received a DoorDash order at the house at approximately 4 a.m. Cell data also indicated that she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at 4:12 a.m. Another student who lived in the house, referred to as DM in the court documents, told police that she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m., but what she said sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the rooms upstairs. A short time later, the roommate said she thought she heard Goncalves say something like, "There's someone here." The roommate said she thought she heard crying coming from Kernodle's room and opened her door but didn't see anything. She then said she heard a male voice say something like, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At 4:17 a.m., a security camera in the area picked up the distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking. This camera was less than 50 feet away from Kernodle's bedroom. The roommate opened her door a third time after she heard crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. She described the person as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. Court documents state the man walked past the roommate as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The man then walked toward the back sliding glass door. Wow. The roommate locked herself in her room. Wow. Now we know what's going on. Oh my God. Evidence found at the scene. When police arrived at the house, they first found Kernodle dead, laying on the floor. She had wounds that appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Police also found Chapin dead in the room. In Goncalves' room, police found a dog that belonged to her and her ex-boyfriend. So the dog was in the room. Interesting. Through a shared bathroom, police entered Mogen's bedroom and found both Mogen and Goncalves dead, with visible stab wounds. Next to the victims, police found what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side. The sheath was later processed and had USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA left on the button snap of the knife sheath. Police also found a shoe print that showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to a Vans-type shoe just outside the door of the roommate who reported spotting the suspect. Search for the white Hyundai Elantra. A review of the camera footage showed a white sedan in the area. It was spotted several times, including approximately 4:04 a.m. when it appears to unsuccessfully park in front of the victim's house on King Road. It eventually makes a 3-point turn and heads down a different road. The vehicle is seen leaving the area of the house at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Investigators later got access to video footage on the Washington State University campus where Kohberger lived. A review of that video showed a white sedan leaving an area on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way at approximately 2:44 a.m. 9 minutes later, the vehicle was seen driving southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman toward SR 270, which connects to Moscow, Idaho. The vehicle is then seen on 5 cameras around 5:25 a.m., returning to Pullman and the WSU campus. On November 25th, Moscow police asked law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Hyundai Elantra. 4 days later, a WSU officer did a search for the white Elantras registered at the school. The query turned up a vehicle registered to Kohberger with Pennsylvania license plates. Cell phone data. Police then obtained the cell phone number for Kohberger and started to check its data. The cell did not report to a network during the time frame of the murders, and police speculate it could have been in an area without service or turned off. After obtaining a search warrant, police received historical records of the phone. Police were working to determine if Kohberger stalked any of the victims in this case. The records showed that the cell phone was in the area of the victim's house on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13, 2022. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours. DNA evidence. Kohberger left Pullman to travel back to his family home in Pennsylvania. On December 27th, Pennsylvania agents recovered trash from outside his family home. The evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. The next day, the lab reported that a DNA profile from the trash was a match. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the results, the lab concluded. All right, so here's the skinny, as they say. Allegedly, Brian did this. He crept into the house somewhere between 4 a.m. and 4:25 with a military-style blade wrapped in a sheet. He went in, killed Ethan and Xana. They made noises. He was upstairs, kills Kaylee and Maddie, and that's where he drops his sheath, which is where they eventually found a partial DNA match on the button. Dylan came out because she heard a noise, but didn't call 911 right away. She ends up going back into her room after he walks right past her without stabbing her, by the way. Continues on out of the back, sliding with the partial match. They got the familial DNA, narrowed down some suspects, him owning the vehicle, and this match. So now we just need some actual DNA. So they go into the trash outside of his parents' home and they dig out some trash and they're able to match the DNA. Once the WSU person ran Hyundais through the system, it was narrowed down even more and put Brian Kohberger on the radar. Now we have him owning the vehicle and this match. That is how they got the warrant. So this is the probable cause affidavit. And there's now a gag order, so Moscow police, nor the attorneys, nor really anyone involved in the case is allowed to speak on it anymore. But I'll keep you updated as much as I legally can. And I'll see you in the comments, beautiful people.